Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. And we are live. Looking forward to today's show. We are currently here today talking about dealing with friends and how friendships works once again. And partly just because it was such a lovely topic last week, and we've had so much fun with it. We chose to keep the topic and delve into it. And I'm going to actually pass the mic over to Sujata here, my co-host. Oops. And let me just introduce her briefly, and then she can tell us a little bit about how today's show is going to go. So Sujata is the author of Against All Odds, a book where in this book, it's a legal life manual. And do you live in the jungle with animals or live in civilized society? Well, Sujata has accumulated a wealth of experiences during her life, leading to insights and knowledge that cannot be coached or taught in a class. She's a mother, a wife, a journalist, a consultant, an activist, a leader, and businesswoman domestically and internationally. And in sharing her story, Sujata strives to provide readers of all backgrounds in any part of the world with real life examples on how to deal with the unpredictable nature of everyday life. And so we have come together to create a room to talk about some of the topics that I would say people have a tough time talking about, a sensitive time, and what I would call maybe even a pressured time, pressured by that avoiding looking bad and looking good experience out there in the world. So today, what do you think? What are we going to touch on today, Sujata?
On friendship or judging.
Yes. Judging in what way?
We are constantly judging and we are constantly judged. But what is the approach that we take? Why do we take it, and where do we cross or do not cross the line? Is what I would like to talk about.
Beautiful. And I'm super excited because one of the things that I love going into conversations and listening to people speak, and I hear them say, "We don't judge here." And I literally want to collapse with laughter. I'm like, okay, so we are going to be non-human. We're going to have we're going to turn off our humanity, and we are going to not judge people. And then there are people, well, I don't judge people. Really? And I love this conversation. This is one of those things. And I remember the first time I met with Sujata and we had this discussion, and she said, Les, I am not a judging and assessing person. And I said, yes, you are. We all are. And we had a debate. And that's one of the things that why this topic came up to today for us. To discuss this, because I've been in several rooms over the past several months, and I hear people get up on stage and I hear them speaking, and they're professing a point, or they're educating us, or they're um, sharing views. And the next, somewhere along the conversation, they say, and we don't judge and assess people here in this room. Or, I don't judge and assess people that come and talk to me. And I'm like, do people not understand that is a lie? 85 to 95% of our communication is nonverbal, and we judge people whether we like it or not all the time. 100% of the time, we're judging and assessing people. And whether we're consciously doing it, we are unconsciously doing it at the same time. And we are always on guard. And I think the thing that irks me the most about this, Sujata, is that there is this propensity for people to say, I'm better than you by saying I don't judge and assess. Or I'm, I have high standards, so I don't judge and assess. I'm my integrity's in, or I'm a good Christian, or I'm a good Catholic, and I don't judge people. I leave that up to God. And I look and I go, you're full of poop. We all judge and assess. And I will argue this point with anybody that wants to argue it. Because I can tell you, if you're standing in a store in downtown Minneapolis and 3 people walk in black overcoats with hoodies pulled up over their face, shades on, everybody in the store is going to have a thought. And they are going to judge and assess that throws 3 people, and they are going to be wary from that second on. And by the way, I have no issue with it. I'm not saying it. I'm saying that's a good thing. I think it's a safety thing. I think it's a good thing for people to be aware of that. I'm going to watch out for that, for the pickpockets when I'm in a crowd. I am going to watch out for people that are drunk and swerving all over the place, even just if they're walking. And so for me, I think people ought to be responsible for how they say those statements when they say, I'm not a judging person. Because what it does for me, it takes my level of trust and honesty for that person from a level of up here, at maybe an 8 or a 9, and I put them down to a 4 of a 5 because they just told me a lie and they're not responsible for it. In other words, they're not cognizant of the judging they do, and they don't own it. So did you want to jump in, or shall I go to the stage, Sujata?
I think you can go to the stage. I'll reserve my comments for later.
Okay. Joey, go for it.
Coach, I was checking into the hotel and just getting into my hotel room. There's nothing for me to share except I didn't catch anything.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Ebenezer, did you happen to hear the conversation? All right. He must not be able to remove his mic. So, Sujata, it's later.
Yes. It's now. So here are my thoughts. The moment we are seen by people, we are judged, which I have faced and continue to face all the time. So, right from the eyeglass that I wear to the shoes that I wear, people may openly tell me, "Oh, is that kind of a eyeglass? Oh, you're wearing this kind of a shoe." So they will promptly do a calculation of what it costs, doesn't cost, from where it was bought, not bought, then they will go on. People will always ask you in real person, in real time, wherever you're staying, they'll ask you, so what do you do? Where do you stay? You know, did you come? Trying to be very subtle. They might even ask you whether you drove in a car and came or not. So they do all the calculations to put you in a bracket. So those are some basic ways to analyze and judge. When I say judging, then let me put it this way for those who say there is no judging. We have a lot of research going on every matter and field, right? How does the data come from the research? It is to put people into brackets on a particular topic, and then take out an analysis or a analytic percentage of so and so, right? That is also a form of judging and analyzing. It goes hand in hand. When I say that I don't judge, it's because I operate from a principle of acceptance of whosoever I'm meeting or seeing. So they might be from wherever, they might have their opinions, they might have their belief systems. That is not going to influence my interacting with them or my relationship with them, because I will accept that they are who they are. So I'm not going to say, oh, because they think like this, then I should not be having anything to do with them. Unless, of course, they're criminals or something. That's a different matter. But most often, what I do is that obviously I will analyze the person through their actions, through what they speak, and if it resonates with me, I appreciate them. Now, that may be a form of opinion or judging a person or analyzing a person, but it's only up till that level.
Well, and to
I
me,
won't put people in boxes, if you know what I mean.
what's that? Say that.
I won't put people in boxes based on whatever is comes out of who they are.
I think the key though here, and you'll have to excuse me. My dog is telling me it's time for him to go outside. He wanted to. He came in here because it's thunder and lightning, and now,
Remy,
yes, yes, Remy. So with that, I'm gonna stay clear of this for just a moment. But Joey, go for it.
Yeah, no, I agree with what Sujata had said about the moment we meet people, there's a judgment. But I think I tend to think of it as a scoping out. I think I would add that to it. And what I mean by that is, I think it's necessary. So when you say judging, I heard you say like the glasses you're wearing, stuff like that. So and I totally agree. But I think there's also I wonder. I would love the conversation around it. If anyone does agree that there's a certain level of, like I said, kind of like scoping out, the first impressions. I think there could be an element of that being healthy to just kind of get the feels for the person and kind of see what's going on. Maybe check the vibe, just to kind of see. I do think it's totally natural. I think we have something in us that it may come off as, we may perceive it as judging. I'm not sure, but I think it's something we do. I think it's a basic instinct that we have when we first meet somebody, just to kind of automatically scan the person over real quick. Not to say, hey, what kind of shoes are they wearing? Are they wearing back in the 80s and the 90s? Are they wearing Jordans or nothing like that? But I think it's almost impossible not to do that, to look at somebody and try to watch them and kind of see what your first reaction or what their first reaction is going to be. I'm curious, Sujata, to see if what you commented on is aligned to what I'm communicating. And I will. This is Joey. Yield the mic.
So, Joey, did you hear that question, Sujata, from Joey?
Can you repeat the question?
Well, yeah, he wanted to know if what he said aligned with what you were thinking.
Yeah.
And I'll rephrase it. So I know judging the glasses you wear, the designer purse or lack thereof designer purse, what shoes you're wearing, right? There's that judging, right? I get it. That happens. Maybe people go as far as what their skin color is, what their culture is. But beyond all of that, I think there is a certain level, and I think it's healthy. I think it's something that we just do when you meet somebody for the first time to kind of see what's their personality. You can tell a lot from the initial hello or lack thereof, and so not necessarily judging, but just kind of. I think it's an instinct that we just have where we kind of give that first glance that, and I call it scoping them out, feeling their vibe. I think that's healthy. And I was asking, would you say that's still a form of judging, or would you say would you say what I explained was healthy and something that we just automatically do? I was just kind of trying to see if there's any clarification, what you thought about what I said.
Okay, Joey. So, yes, till the point that you're saying that you may be scoping them out and you may be consciously, unconsciously just, doing that because it's sometimes a habit. But what I have seen is that it depends on the person who's doing that analysis. If you don't have those things, or you think that people who have certain things cannot be spiritual or cannot have a personality or a character which goes beyond physical and materialistic things, then that is misjudging, or not getting to know the real person, because the real person you will get to know only through how they operate. For example, I have said this quite often, that just because I don't sit under a tree with a long beard and saffron robes, does it mean that I cannot say the same things that the so called gurus say? Just because I don't live like that? Do I have to wear, sack clothes or something like that, or be clad in a certain kind? Because that's also putting yourself in a bracket and judging. So if you see somebody with a beard and all that, does it make them automatically wise? I don't think so.
I agree. I'm bald with no real facial hair, so I would definitely agree with that statement. No, I appreciate the commentary, Sujata, and I will add, I have a really good friend. We become really good friends. He's a little bit older than I am, a friend of the family. And when I first met him, look, it didn't surprise me when he told me what he did for a living. I forget the proper word for it now; it's slipping my mind. But he worked for the government, and he did the lie detector test. So it's, even to this day, every time I'm in his company, in his presence, he's always asking questions, and it's like, Gary, come on, like, what's going on here? So I think some people maybe go a little bit overboard, and whether it's judging or scoping out or just asking a lot of questions. But anyway, I do appreciate the commentary, Sujata. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's a very interesting topic for me in this particular arena, and am I hardcore black and white about it? Yes, I am. On purpose, for the simple reason that I believe people have to start taking responsibility for their speech and for the way they communicate. And so many people take it for granted. And they take it for granted that you ought to know what is going on between their ears. and you ought to be the one that figures it out. Well, that's not what I meant. Well, then say what you mean. And if you're not able to communicate what you mean with words, then reword it. Find words that work. I look at the opportunity with this languaging and being responsible for how we are in language, how we speak to people, how the unspoken that goes on between our ears gets communicated, even when we think we're not communicating it. And the judging, assessing that goes on. And, I know people that go, well, stop looking at my body language and judging my body language. Listen to what I'm saying. And I look at them, I'm like, why would I listen to 5 to 10% or 5 to 15%? Have that be the truth when 85 to 95%, I have the experience that you don't want to be around me, you don't want to be with me, and you wish I wasn't there. And I think too many people, and especially in relationships, people take relationships for granted. And it's same on Zoom. I see it on Zoom. I watch it on Zoom. I come into board meetings and watch board meetings, and I watch people, and they are and you can hear one person say X, and the eye roll happens from number 30. And I'm like, seriously? You think I'm going to miss that eye roll? And then you're going to tell me, oh yeah, that person has a great comment. Really enjoyed their comment. I'm like, really? Then what part of you didn't enjoy it? And I think so many of us have learned these habits of nonverbal communication, or even sometimes verbal communication, where we are unconscious to the upset that we can create and cause over there. And it makes me sad because it happens so frequently. It happens with so many people. You wonder how people stay together. You wonder how people can walk down the street. So with that, Ebenezer, are you able to come off mic yet? All right. Well, with that, I'm going to go to Brother Wade.
I'm Wade. I agree. I do it. I know I do it. There's certain people that if I could actually watch my facial expressions when I see them, I'm sure I do it with Letitia. I'm really sure. She probably gets an eye roll or a signal like, oh, this again, or I'm wondering, though, now we know there's a problem. What's our solution? That's my question. I know that's my question is I think we all kind of agree. I agree with Joey. And Coach, you know a little bit, but there's a certain person I had to meet today to deal with the situation. The person has committed violent acts against me in the past. And you better believe my guard was up. And you better believe I didn't even speak to them. I totally disregarded them. And I was really abruptly and rude because I had it in my mind that person was going to be aggressive. And so I wasn't going to give them the opportunity. And I think Sujata said as much, like there are certain people that we know are very aggressive or even criminal but that's not what we're talking about. So back to my question is, so what are some of our solutions? I'm looking, just my thoughts. I think we all agree there can be or is a communication problem, but well, I'm not going to be, I used some words, yet how do we resolve it? I'm really interested because I'd like to stop. So it's back to you, Coach.
Good news and bad news, Wade. Well, first off, before I dive in, if anybody can bring Kavendra up, I've tried bringing him up.
Even I can try.
And I've invited him up, but the app isn't helping me. So Joey and Wade, can you see if you can click on that little clipboard and bring him up? All right. Kavendra, it doesn't look like it's working, so I'm not sure why. If you want to pop out and pop back in, I will invite you up as soon as you come back in. Ebenezer's mic's not working, that's for sure. There we go. Ebenezer, is your mic working now? Ah, darn it. This app is funky today, that's for sure. Oh, he popped out. Hopefully he'll pop back in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go. Let me see if I can invite him up. There we go. Sent them an invite. Come on. See if it works. Wade's over there playing with the the new Giphy. Well, looks like it didn't work. Oh, well.
I sent him an invite several times.
Me too. You should have had a whole stream of them across the top. There we go. Great. We've sent them an invite. Come on. Such a frustrating thing. Ebenezer, are you able to click your mic? Man, it's so fun. That's such a pain in the butt.
Oh, and Coach, I did want to add something.
Fire away.
What I was thinking about, so we talked about eye roll and some other things, and I just noticed it, like my tone and the energy of my voice changed even thinking about that person. So there's also that, I know I have to be careful sometimes when I'm tired and things that my tone isn't, even though it not really raised the volume of my voice, it's just the power and there's a special word, but anyways, it's evident that I'm tense and I'm not enjoying the conversation. But so I heard there was good news and bad news. So my interest is piqued. So back to you, Coach.
Thank you so much, Wade. Very, very interesting dilemma today. Not being able to bring Mr. Kavendra up, and I keep inviting. There you go. Hopefully that worked. Okay. Well, I'm going to dive into the conversation again. I think that I think that this is a topic that would make a difference if it was taught in schools, so that people had these tools that we're talking about to support them in being discerning, being wise, being grateful. And I think this is, what we're starting here is at the beginning of a revolution to be responsible for how you communicate with integrity. And does this get in the way of making a friendship? And if it does, how do we get around it? That's what I want to know. Okay, look at that. Squirrel came right up. I don't know what's going on. And so,
welcome to the room, Squirrel.
Good to see you, Mark.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday.
Hey, we are talking about the fact that
Coach is trying to remedy a situation. He's trying to go get co-vendor up.
Welcome,
hello, Padlin.
Welcome, Mark. Welcome, Padlin. Yep, we're just doing our best to
On stream yet?
There you go. I think I should be back now. Am I there? Okay. All right. So, Squirrel, we are talking about I brought it up. I brought up this topic because I've been in so many rooms recently where they make the statement, I don't judge and assess, which I think is a bucket of poop. And so we've been having the discussion about who judges and assesses and how do they judge and assess. So
I like that. How's that been going? That gets to be a little bit of it's a touchy topic.
I think we've had a lot of people leave.
Well, you know what? Then obviously they may not be ready for it then, to have this discussion. For me, I'll share. You guys know I have no problem with that. I am not one to judge. I judge myself before I judge anybody else. Straight, and even judging anybody else, I won't do. It's just my life I look at. It's my life I worry about. It's me making a difference for me, for others who revolve around me. And I firmly believe in judge yet, not yet you be judged. Now, assessment, yes, that I will do. I will see where you are in your mindset, in your actions, in your demeanor, how you carry yourself, and then that will allow me to understand how I need to communicate with you, or how I feel I should present myself to that person, making initial contact, and then allow them to, say and do the things that they need to do, in hopes of, I hope I'm wrong. This is what I see. This is what I feel. I'm going to go into it anyway, because I'm not judging this person. I let them show you first. You can make your own judgments. Go for it. I go anyway. I'm going to go for it anyway. I'm going to give the opportunity anyway. And for me, personally, 9 times out of 10, it goes very, very sour. So I will not. Now I'm done. I'm out of that. I'm just judging and assessing my own life and focusing on making it better, moving it forward, and keeping it moving. Other people, if they ask me, I'll hit them with everything, real raw and uncut. Otherwise, you're not going to hear me. I'm not going to waste my time and energy anymore with that. It's extremely stressful. It's extremely tiresome. You don't eat. I'm not having that, because I've had the feelings come over me where I felt like there were people that were talking about me and they were judging me. And about 2 weeks later, I learned that that's exactly what was going on behind closed doors. And that was something that God gave to me for peace. He gave me peace. He helped build me strength and resilience towards those who are judging me, who don't really see who I am and what I'm about and what I stand for. And the same goes for everybody else that comes into my life. Just because you may have sunglasses and tattoos with a guinea tee on and some ripped pants, wearing a biker shirt, that doesn't mean you're a drug dealer. That doesn't mean that you're in a gang. It just means you like tattoos. You like to ride bikes. You like wearing leather. You like being out on the open road. That's got nothing to do with it. It's got everything about your personality, how you treat other people. Then from that point, from my understanding, is the way that you talk to me is the way things are going to go. If you're going to be disrespectful towards me, you're going to be rude and obnoxious, then what's going to go into anybody's mind is, well, this guy's an ass. But maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe he's going through a divorce, or his kid died, or he's about to lose his home. You don't know. So why am I going to pass judgment on you, not even understanding or knowing what's going on in your life? That's why all it takes is a simple smile and hello. And sometimes that makes people's day. And a short story, and then I'll mute up. So I had a concrete pour yesterday, and the driver was not good. He was not a very good driver. He didn't quite understand how to mix the water in with the concrete. So he made every single wheelbarrow that I did extremely heavy. It was not workable. The boss was getting absolutely frustrated, livid, cursing, throwing stuff. So I go up to the guy's window. I'm like, his boss was saying the guy wasn't having a good day to driver. And I'm like, it's all right, bro. I said, sometimes we don't have good days. Sometimes we have bad days. Stay focused. Keep moving forward. And you're going to get this. You're going to get this. I got you. And he messed up a couple more wheelbarrows after that. I asked him to add some water. He did it. And after that, I was like, bro, good job. Thank you. This is exactly what we were looking for, and you did it. You know, congratulations to you. This now from this point on, you can take the rest of your day and enjoy it and leave this behind you. But I didn't go saying, yeah, this guy's a crappy driver. He doesn't know what he's doing. I didn't put him down because I've done it too. So I'm not going to put all of that on somebody, even if I want to get it off my chest. That's for me to do for me, not to put on to you. I do that for me. And thank you for letting me speak, guys. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said no putting on others. It's a beautiful reference. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to my son's 6th grade graduation.
All right.
So my daughter graduates 8th grade tomorrow, so I'm going to have a little freshman. I'm excited about that. I just found out today. Nobody said nothing to me. No calls, no nothing. Hey, you want to go to your son's graduation? Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't know about it. Sure.
Yeah, understood. Well, I'm glad you're going to get to experience that. You'll have to let us know how it goes.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be back later on.
And with that, Brother Joey, what are your thoughts so far? Are you all caught up and understanding the conversation now?
Yes. No. Yeah. No. I chuckled when you mentioned the Zoom room and the body language, and you said, "Oh, really? What part?" But I thought it was pretty funny. I laughed out. Off that and everything, and focus on there a little bit. You know, body language is so key and so important. And as far as you know, like you mentioned, you can sense it, you could feel it, and you said 85% of the way we communicate is nonverbal. Is you said that, right? That was the percentage you said.
Yes, sir. 85 to 95% nonverbal.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a pretty significant number. You know, and I think that might kind of back up what I was saying when I commented earlier, as far as, you know, kind of scoping people out and kind of seeing where they are. You know, when you meet somebody, you can tell if they really want to be there. You can pick up on their body language. But I do believe, because I have some really good friends, that if it was based off the initial reaction or interaction, and even the first few interactions, that may have been more nonverbal, and then we kind of formed an opinion. I do believe that it just takes time. I'm really good friends with quite a few people, actually, that if you would have asked me the first 4 meetings or 4 weeks or however long it was that I was, getting acquainted with them, if I ever thought they would have become such a really good friend, I would have said, no way. You know, that happened more when I was younger, I think, when I was possibly in high school. But even as an adult, there are definitely relationships where the first interaction, and once again, Squirrel mentioned it, you know, they could have been having a bad day. We don't know what's going on in their life. Some people just are socially introverted, and that interaction right there could put off that nonverbal vibe where we may think, well, they certainly didn't want to be in our company. You can tell they didn't want to be here. You can tell they didn't want to have anything to do with, you know, if it's a spouse, right, husband, wife. Well, you can tell she didn't want to be in at this work party, you know. And meanwhile, Maybe they just have RBF, right? And as you get to know them a little bit better, you understand that they're sweet people. So I think there's some wiggle room here, Coach. And I'll yield the mic.
Well, I think the wiggle room for me is clear communication. It's an easy way around it. And don't tell people you're not judging and assessing them. Don't make a point to say we don't judge and assess here, because we judge and assess on every single platform on Clubhouse without fail. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you got a halo. And welcome to humanity. And there we go.
Without a shot, definitely. I agree 100% with that comment, Coach. Goes back to, but just trying to think. You just said something, and I had something I wanted to kind of comment on. You said just communicate it. Just communicate it.
Yes.
With my scenario, and I said there's some wiggle room there. With my, just kind of give me clarification. With my scenario, there are people who just don't communicate verbally, and their non-communication
is a communication.
Good.
See, this is where the rubber meets the road, ladies and gentlemen. Communicating without communicating is a form of communication.
What you mean is silence is a form of communication too.
A very powerful one.
Amen.
But can we? I know not everyone was in your room the last 2 days, Coach. When we talk about personality, can we give a pass and acknowledge personalities? Like I said, I've got some people that I would have thought they would have never become really good friends of mine based off the initial interaction or even the first couple of interactions. And once they feel comfortable, I mean, we're not throwing these people under the bus and writing them off, right?
No. Oh my goodness, no. I just think that there are people that are pompous and pious and think their poop don't stink. And
there you go. No, okay, gotcha.
And they think they're all that. And I'm here because, and I get to do this and this and this because I don't judge and assess people. And it's like, well, you're full of poop.
Letitia's laughing, Coach. Hey, Coach, I just wanted to say in the chat, Covender had put a share, and so my phone's not big enough that I can read. So somebody could probably read Covender's share in the chat. I think he'd greatly appreciate that.
Yes. Covender says, assessment to me is an evaluation of oneself, who I am or what I am, an ability to grasp a concept of knowledge and skill set. Judgment. Touché.
And Coach, I'm waiting. I wanted to touch on the communication. So relevant to that situation, we did speak on the phone and we clarified the goals. Like, this is what we both want. Yes, yes. Without all the drama, great. Sounds like we can make this happen. And I think in the past, a lot of the problem was in the communication. I know I'm weighing in. I'm often guilty of the way I communicate. because I speak fast and my thoughts can be all over the place. And it goes with what Coach Joey was saying. Sometimes a person, and I like what Squirrel said, and I believe wholeheartedly that it's natural unless we work to change how we think about that person. If I immediately have a certain impression or thought of somebody, that's how I'm going to treat them. So if I think you're the enemy, I'm going to treat you as such. If I think you're a wonderful person, then I'll treat you as such. To me, I have to filter everything and look at it. How does God look at this person? And to me, the change happens when I look at somebody with love, even as I like how someone has put it, love from a distance. It's a challenge. I will say that. It's a challenge. I'm just glad that we have opportunity for change. Back to you, Coach.
Well, it's a little bit of a head scratcher to me. I'm going to pass the mic, though, to Paitlin. How you doing, Paitlin?
Doing great. About what Wade said about communication. I actually know about love. What I always do is just say, what is on your heart, Lord? And so sometimes it can be hard to love a person, to see what God sees about that person. But I would just challenge everyone to just say, Lord, what is on your heart for this person? Or how do you see this person? And if you do have any hatred, or if you do have a wrong view of a person, the Lord will help challenge that, and He will help you to see His heart concerning that person. I yield my mic.
Yes, Paitlin, I think Coach Les has just stepped out. He'll be back. Thank you for your share.
You're welcome.
So, Letitia, what do you think about this?
Give me a phone. Okay, Coach Les. I was laughing. I'm sorry. There was something that you said about I can't say it verbatim, but that they think that their poop don't stink, that they're all that, and I jokingly with Wade said, back channel Coach Les and let him know, yes, Queen Letitia, the wife, thinks she's all that in a sack of potatoes, and my poop does stink. But there's times that I have to back away and be that non-communicative and communicate person. You know, today, for example, I was that person. I'm like, I cannot be around you. You are toxic. You are issue after issue, and I can't help you. With all that I know and all I can do, there was no way that I could help this person today, Coach. None. And a lot of it, I think, because they weren't open to wanting that help. They think they knew everything. And, you know, like this morning, when their grandparents called, they were 4 hours south of us. And I'm like, let me talk to your grandma so we can tell them how to get where they're supposed to get. No, you can't talk to them. And it's like, okay. So I had to back off and be that nonverbal communication. Yeah, and then in desperation, they're like, no, please help. And it's like, what do you want? Do you want our help or do you not? So I get confused at times, but I understand what you're talking about, and I am greatly appreciative of the feedback, the comments, and everything else. And I don't know how to, well, I guess I do. For the time being, because of the incidents that have gone on, for the time being, I'm going to be an arm's length or more away. I'm not going to be direct involved. Don't call me if you have something going on and you need to come stay with me, because right now I can't trust you. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. But that's just the way I feel, is if you're toxic, I can't have you around me. I love you. I want what's best for you. But I got to think about my household too. And if it's going to damage my household, then.
But I think we're more focused on
First impressions?
I believe.
Are we more focused on first impressions, professional? Did I go off topic?
Oh no, you can do it's however you view it. It can be professional, it could be personal, it could be going in as a customer into a store.
Oh, I've had many of it instances. I've walked into a store and I've been looked at like, you don't belong here, and I do my shopping and I say hello and I'm polite, and you know, like where we are at our campsite, we're right by the bathrooms. Right on the pathway to bathrooms. So 24-hour Bible study with a cup of coffee, with a cup of Bible is playing from 7:30 in the morning until it ends right here at this campsite. So everybody hears it. We have a camper right beside us that's a stone throw away. And I mean, that's what's playing. And everybody's been pleasant. All but the one incident. But I just figure because of the teenage years and, you know, but I'm not going to go into that. But they've all been pleasant. They've all stopped and talked to us. We've talked to them. You know, we even walked around the park yesterday, the campground yesterday, and everybody was pleasant, you know, when we passed their camps. But it's when somebody gives me that first impression that they just look at me like something's wrong with me, I just look at them and go, well, hello, how are you? How's your day going? Because something that I guess Squirrel said is you never know what's going on with them. Maybe they need that positive affirmation or that positiveness from somebody to help them get out of the mood that they're in. And if we, as God's children, don't do that, then are we following God's rules? You know, treat others like, you know, and to treat, you know. So I know all these I think I need to go back to Toastmasters. So it's interesting, to say the least. And with that, I yield my mic, Coach Les. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sujata, you want to pop in? We're going to wrap up here.
Yeah, we can wrap up. It has been interesting, and I think it will take a bit for people to focus or to do some reflections on this topic. You know, we need to get comfortable talking about uncomfortable things. And this is one such topic, I feel, because it also requires changing your mindset from the conditioning that we are used to, which makes us judge people and put them in boxes.
Excellent. Yeah. Brother Joey, anything to close the room with?
I'm complete, Coach.
Okay, Brother Wade.
I'm Wade. Coach, I agree with Sujata. And this is where we need to get comfortable talking about things that make us feel uncomfortable, things that we have to become vulnerable with, and at times admit that I struggle with that, or this is a challenge, or with certain people it might be a challenge. So I'm excited. I think it's a great topic. I think it's vast and broad, and we could probably spend the rest of our lives talking about it. But in reflection, it's been a good discussion. I think we've covered some good ground. I'm Wade, and I'm glad I'm here. Back to you, Coach.
I have nothing to say.
And Letitia Passon.
All right. Well, I thank everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. This has been a great conversation. And remember, tomorrow night at 9:30, we have the third volume. Tomorrow will be the fourth conversation about friendship. You can catch that in the replays. So with that, anything else for you, Sujata? With that, we're going to close the room on Clubhouse. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Well, Siri can hear me too. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. And remember, tomorrow night, our show is at 9:30 Central. And we look forward to continuing the discussion. We're super excited because it's a kind of a fun discussion. And we just really appreciate the contributions that each of you have. Kavendra, so sorry about the mix-up with the mic and not being able to get you on stage. and really just appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to my wife, Kristen. Thank you, Kavendra. I see Wade and Letitia have headed to the beach. Thanks, Sujata. Thanks, Joey. And I'm going to close up Clubhouse, and we will see you in the next time. This room will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And with that, back to this beautiful opportunity here. We will go ahead here and close up the room here with a couple of videos.
Coaching with Les has doubled my practice.
We've increased our sales by about 33%, of blowing all of our goals out of the water.
In my first 6 months, I actually grew my business with his help over 500%. Literally 500%.
Les Hill is the type of person that invests back in you and back into your company. So if you're looking for a business coach with integrity, choose Les Hill.